What is up, guys? I am Howie, and this is the Go Ride channel, where I struggle to publish 2 videos every week about motorcycle topics of every flavor. And today we are working on checking the cylinder bore on my 91 KDX to make sure that the cylinder doesn't need to be replaced, that all I need to do is the piston because I need to order parts. Okay, so to check the cylinder bore, what you first need to do is set up your bore gauge. And in order to set up your bore gauge, you need to set up your outside caliper micrometer. So the piston, or the cylinder is standard bore measurement is 66.026 to 66.041 millimeters. And between any two measurements, you're allowed 0.01 millimeters. So as you turn, that's how much out around basically you're allowed in your cylinder. So first thing that I did, because I live in the United States and basically everything is done in imperial units, I converted that to inches. So 66.038 millimeters is approximately 2.5998 inches. Once we know exactly what measurement it is we're trying to take, we need to go ahead and set an outside micrometer to that measurement. Now, outside micrometers typically will come in sets, so you need to pick the tool in the set which corresponds to the measuring range that you're trying to get into. In our case, 2.5998 inches, so I've selected the 2 to 3 inch micrometer. At this point, we can go ahead and check and zero the tool. And by doing so on these larger micrometers, you use these little gauge blocks. So this one is precisely 2 inches. So go ahead and spin the thimble down. And usually you want to check this thing in 2 points. I just checked 3 inches and it's pretty close to being spot on. I don't think this one's going to be quite as good. So right there where it clicks, I'll show you what the dial looks like. Because 2 inches is the bottom of this range, that's 2.0 inches when that line and that line right up perfectly. It looks like we're 3/10,000ths of an inch off or so. So I'm not going to sweat it because we were dead on at 3 inches. So we're going to be pretty close. So now what we need to do is go ahead and set the micrometer to 2.599 inches. So we back this thimble out, 2.599. So then how do we get from here to 2.5998? You look at these little gradations right here and you back it off, so that the 8 is aligned right there on that. And that's really as close as we're going to get. The reality of it is this tool is not that precise. So that's how to set up your micrometer. And then you want to go ahead and lock the jaw right there. And the next step is going to be to set your dial bore gauge. So to properly set up your dial bore gauge, you have to do 2 things. One, you have to assemble it, which is basically just putting your dial into the handle. And then the second thing is going to be to select the correct anvil and space the anvil corresponding to the measurement you're trying to take. Now, we're really lucky. We've got this 2.60 inch anvil, so we're just going to go ahead and use that one. If you wanted like 2.5 or so, to get into that range, you could use your 2.4 inch and then you stack a 0.12 inch washer behind it right here when you screw it in there. So let me go ahead and show you what I got to do. So the first step is going to be to go ahead and insert your dial gauge right into the handle. You want to kind of just put that thing about right there. I don't know if you can see that, where it's pretty close to 0. It doesn't have to be exact. Then this piece right here unscrews. And then the 2.60 inch anvil is inserted right there. And then this little collar is screwed back down. So now to do this, I apologize for the lighting, but to do this we're going to be back at our caliper micrometer. And we go ahead and put it in here, and kind of wiggle it back and forth to figure out your 0. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my 0 down to about the 5 o'clock position, or 6 o'clock position. And so it rocks, the needle is rocking right about the 0 point. So now we come to the cylinder and measure just down on the bore a little bit. And we have our little guide right there. And so you kind of rock this back and forth, and it looks like we're reading right about 1/1000th of an inch less than the bore that we set this for. So I'm going to go ahead and check, kind of perpendicular, and it appears now you guys can't see that, but it appears that we're within the same range. So the cylinder is not out of round. It means that it's just about right. So when I said that we were 1/1000th of an inch under what we had set the micrometer for, I'm going to have to do some math here. So we set for 2.5998 inches. And we were reading approximately 1/1000th of an inch less. So we're at 2.5988 inches, which is basically 60, come on Google, I need 66.00952. Basically, we are still within the standard cylinder bore. It's actually read a little low. That's probably my measuring technique. But we know that we're not above 66.041 inches, so the cylinder does not need to be replaced. 66.1 millimeters, so the cylinder does not need to be replaced. And there is not 1/2 of 1/10 of a millimeter difference in any two measurements there. So now, just for giggles, we're going to go ahead and take a measurement on the piston itself to see how close we are, and that's done right on this side of the piston, about 16 millimeters up from the skirt. We need to make sure that we're dead on perpendicular. And we are at 2.594. So we have 2.594 inches is approximately 65.88 millimeters. So let's see how that stacks up. So 65.88, that's getting pretty down close to the bottom of the usable range there. Usually you want to, that's standard, I guess. We know we're probably right to be replacing the piston. Sorry for the really tedious episode. Again, like I said, I'm kind of following the letter of the law here because I've never done this before. I don't know what steps I can skip. Hopefully this was useful to somebody. These are tips that can be applied to just about any motor. I'm going to go ahead and check the bore on my flathead here in a bit with my new toys. These are steps that can be applied to any motor. So hopefully this was interesting. Again, probably not necessary if you know, okay, I just replaced my cylinder last time, or the bike is only 40 hours old, or whatever. All I need is a piston. In my case, I really didn't know that. So it was good to check, and I feel like it was a good learning experience for me. So I'm going to go ahead and get a piston kit coming, and you will see that in a subsequent episode. Get out there, go ride.